dude. Picture a middle-aged man with a hairline retreating faster than his morals, wearing a suit that cost too much to cover so little integrity. His laugh was loud, fake, and probably flammable. They were talking too close. You know, the kind of close that makes you want to liao your soul. Yeah, that they crossed the street, his hand, accidentally brushing her back like she was a malfunctioning printer. He was trying to reset. I clenched my jaw, not out of rage, but out of second-hand embarrassment. Watching them flirt was like watching two raccoons fight over a shiny trash can. They got into his car, a silver Lexus that screamed midlife crisis, and drove off. I followed at a respectable distance because, again, I'm not reckless, I'm strategic. They headed downtown, right into the heart of temptation, the Ember Lounge, a bar so pretentious it served artisanal ice. I parked 2 blocks away, walked in like I belonged there, and found a spot in the corner booth. I ordered a drink. I didn't even want something with an umbrella and too much sugar because blending in requires sacrifice. And there they were sitting at the bar like 2 rom-com extras who hadn't read the part where everything goes wrong. She laughed loudly. The kind of laugh she hadn't used around me in months. That hurt for about 3 seconds before I realized something. She was performing overcompensating. Guild has a laugh track and hers was on full volume. I took out my phone, opened the camera app, and started recording photos, videos, timestamps. Each one labeled in my notes like Netflix episodes. Episode 1, Corporate Affairs. Episode 2, The Bonus, She Didn't Earn. Episode 3, HR's Worst Nightmare. I zoomed in just as he leaned closer, his hand brushing her thigh. I swear I could hear the distant sound of karma warming up its engines. At one point, she whispered something into his ear, and he laughed so hard he almost spilled his drink. I didn't know what she said, but it was probably something poetic like, "My husband still thinks meetings end after 5. My drink arrived. I raised a glass and a mock toast to myself. "Here's to loyalty," I muttered, taking a sip. It tasted like lies and lime. I watched them for an hour. 1 hour of hand-holding, whispering, and touching that made me want to Clorox my memory. Around 9:15, they finally stood up. She adjusted her dress. He adjusted his ego, and they headed out. I paid the bill, left a generous tip because I'm petty, not cheap, and followed them at a safe distance. They didn't go back to the office. They didn't even pretend to. Instead, they went straight to the parking garage next door where I caught them kissing under a flickering light. It looked less like romance and more like an HR complaint waiting to happen. I recorded everything. Every kiss, every touch, every bad decision illuminated by that one stubborn fluorescent bulb. And as I filmed, I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt documentation. When they finally drove off in separate cars, I sat in the rental, staring at my phone screen. It was all there, proof that could silence any courtroom dramatics. I exhaled, leaned back, and said to myself, "You just turned pain into evidence. Congratulations. You're officially your own private investigator." Back home, I called Tar. He picked up on the second ring, already chewing something. "You alive?" "Oh, I'm better than alive,"
I said, "How did you get the cash?"
"I'm productive."
And he's like, "My
He
banking
laughed.
account."
"That sounds dangerous."
Not like
"What did you do?"
this.
"I have footage," I said.
No.
"Video, timestamps, everything."
Also, I don't even
It's like Discovery Channel for idiots in love.
Have like
No
10
way.
bucks in cash
You followed her.
on me.
"Of course,"
Like, I don't
said.
carry cash
"I'm not
on me.
stalking. I'm collecting
Like,
data for
honestly,
research." He whistled. "Man, I should have brought
Oh,
popcorn.
speak of the
Want me to edit it?"
speak of
I
the
grinned.
story that I'm
"You read my
speaking
mind.
of.
Add subtitles and maybe some dramatic music. Something classy like Another One Bites the
I'm
Dust."
talking about
"Got
your
you,"
story,
he
Wolfie,
said.
where you said you
"You want
paid with
transitions
cash,
or straight
so it's
cuts?"
technically free.
"Trance,"
Don't
I
even
said.
come at me.
"This betrayal deserves smooth fades." He cackled. "You're insane."
Old, carries
I love
cash.
it.
Well,
While Tar
maybe
worked his
you're
editing
carrying,
magic,
like,
I
fake
went to the
money,
kitchen and
okay?
poured
Your
myself
money
a
looks
glass
like
of whiskey.
Monopoly money.
Not out of
Yeah, I
sadness,
said it.
out of celebration. It's not every day you
said it.
catch betrayal in 4K. The next morning, I woke up to a
Then
notification.
maybe he's gonna be like,
Video
well,
file,
your money is all
corporate
the same
affairs,
color.
final cut.mpp4. Tar had delivered. I hit play. The opening sequence was cinematic, soft jazz, black and white filter,
make sure that
and a
works.
title card that said, "Based on poor decisions and
I
cheaper
also
wine."
carry you
Then
as
came the footage.
it all looks
Belinda
the same.
and her boss laughing, touching the kiss. Dick even added dramatic slow motion at the perfect moments. It was art, petty art. Halfway through, I was laughing
If
so
the
hard I had to
banking
pause
account
it.
doesn't
Milo looked at me confused like,
complete
"You okay,
with a
man?"
purchase,
"Oh,
it
I'm
freezes.
fantastic."
If I don't
I
see
told
the
him.
number
Netflix
go
could never.
down,
By
it
noon,
freezes.
I'd saved the video in 3 different folders,
So I
2
could be
drives,
rich
and 1
and wouldn't
encrypted
now.
cloud. You don't collect gold and leave it unguarded. That afternoon, I went to see Mrs. Delgado again.
15.
She took one look at my smug face and said, "You found something better than something?"
I see
I
your
said,
point, Wolfie,
handing
but
her a
it's
flash
like,
drive. "I found cinema." She
where did
plugged
the
it
money
in,
come from
pressed
now?
play,
Your banking
and within
account.
30
So
seconds, she was laughing.
technically,
Actual laughter, the
spending
kind
money.
that echoes with
That's not
disbelief and joy.
free.
"Oh, this is beautiful," she said. "Do I hear jazz? Classy, right? Very.
And I only
The
bought
judge
one
will
book
love it."
today, so I
I
don't want
grinned.
to hear it. We
"So,
don't look
what's
at
next
it
now?" She
that
said,
way
"We
around
add this to the
here.
file." Judges
Well, I
love
guess
evidence
I
with
do,
timestamps.
But I
It
don't carry
screams
cash
confidence.
with me, so it's
As
like
she spoke,
I put
I realized
everything
something.
on my card.
I wasn't sad anymore.
Honestly,
I wasn't angry. I was free.
I could live a
Watching
day
her fall
without
apart
my
from a
wallet.
distance
I
wasn't
truly
cruelty.
Could, because
It
I
was
couldn't
closure
tell you
in
the
high
last time
definition.
I opened up my
When I got home
wallet
that evening,
to pay
my
for
phone buzzed
anything.
again.
Because
"Belinda,
I just
can we talk
used my
tonight?"
card on my
I
phone.
stared at it, smirked, and replied, "Sorry, got a late meeting." No response,
I rarely use
just
cash,
silence,
to be honest.
the sweet
I just
kind.
had some.
I sat back on the
That's
couch,
fair enough.
raised my drink, and toasted to the calm because for the first time in weeks, I wasn't reacting.
Where's my wallet at?
I was orchestrating. Belinda
Next
thought
to
she
me
was the
today.
star of the show. But the
I
truth
have
was, she'd just been demoted to background
$6
noise.
in cash
And
on me.
I was finally the director.
$6.
You ever see one of those crime
cash.
documentaries where the detective lays out all the evidence on a
Wow,
big
that-
table
that
and just
kinda
stands there
bothers me,
staring
though.
at it like the
Why
universe
6?
is whispering
Why do
secrets
I
through a
have
thumb drive?
$6?
Yeah, that was me. Except I wasn't solving a murder. I was documenting a slow-motion emotional homicide committed by my wife, Belinda. That night after I got home from Mrs. Delgado's office, I decided it was time for my own little crime scene exhibit. I poured myself a glass of whiskey, grabbed a stack of printed screenshots, receipts, and a highlighter, and got to work. The dining table that once held romantic dinners and anniversary candles now looked like the season finale of CSI Marriage Edition. The first folder was labeled Bank Activity, the financial affair. Oh, it was juicy. Late night Uber rides to conference venues, Venmo payments to a user named Jay, Martin wine glass winking face, and a $300 Sephora purchase 2 days before her team building retreat. Subtlety clearly wasn't her department. The next folder, text messages, hundreds of them. Each one a little nugget of heartbreak and stupidity. "Belinda, you make spreadsheets sexy." Him, "I bet you're amazing at data entry." Winking faced. I actually laughed out loud. "Data entry. That's your flirting game. God, you two deserve each other." Even Milo, who was sitting by my chair, tilted his head like he couldn't believe humans were this dumb. I took a deep breath and kept going. Email confirmations for hotel stays, restaurant bills, and one particularly damning invoice from the Ember Lounge, the same place where I'd filmed her corporate comedy hour with her boss. The timestamps lined up perfectly with my footage. Oh, it was beautiful. Even Mrs. Delgado would have cried tears of legal joy. I printed everything, every message, every transaction, every emoji that now made me want to throw my phone in the ocean. Then I laid them all out on the table piece by piece. The room was dead quiet except for the sound of paper sliding against wood. When I finally stepped back, I almost clapped. It was a masterpiece. My own personal evidence buffet. There were photos on the left, screenshots in the center, bank statements on the right, and at the top, my piece to resistance, the printed transcript of her voicemail confession from that fateful night. I had a one-night stand with my boss, and I'd do it again. Chef's kiss. I took a sip of whiskey, leaned on the counter, and admired my work like an artist at a gallery opening.
It is
"Ladies and gentlemen," I said to
9,
Milo,
and I am now
"tonight's
eating
exhibit
dinner."
is titled How to Ruin a Marriage in 10 Easy Payments." Milo yawned. Typical
I
critic.
had dinner extremely
Then I opened my
early today.
laptop and started organizing everything into a presentation folder. You know, something
Like,
sleek.
I
Because
guess
if I
had
was
dinner
going
at
to
a
dismantle her
normal time.
reputation in court, I wanted to do it with style. Mrs. Delgado always said,
I don't
"Never
know.
underestimate the
I feel
power
like
of
an old
presentation."
person.
I
have a
created
set and
tabs,
stone
timeline
dinner
of
time.
deception, financial misconduct, moral bankruptcy, and my personal favorite, texts that aged like milk. By midnight, I had a binder so thick it could double as a doorstop. I labeled it in big,
I'll
bold
show
letters.
you. Get out.
Exhibit Belinda,
Get outta
season
here.
finale. Every page told a story. Every screenshot whispered, "You really thought you could get away with this?" And the best part, I didn't need to say a word. The evidence screamed louder than I ever could. Even Milo seemed to feel the gravity of it all. He sniffed the binder once, sighed deeply, and gave me a look that said,
No.
"She really risked steak knife for this
We
guy."
need to look
"I
more
know,
into
buddy,"
this
I said,
upgrade.
patting his head. "Some people just aren't built for loyalty or good taste." I sat
Requires an
back,
additional-
watching the soft glow of the desk lamp cast long
spots.
shadows across the
But
papers.
how do I?
It almost looked poetic, revenge, but make it art.
Do I have to
I
turn
thought about
something
confronting her,
off to get
about
it?
laying it all out, about the dramatic showdown people love to see in movies. But the more I pictured it, the less satisfying it seemed.
We gotta Google this.
Yelling wouldn't change the facts. Anger wouldn't give me closure. She'd just twist the story, play the victim, maybe even cry those crocodile tears she'd mastered years ago. No, I wanted quiet destruction. The kind where she woke up one morning and realized the Wi-Fi, the car, the credit cards, the comfort, all of it had vanished. And the only person she could blame was staring back at her in the mirror.
Okay,
So, I planned the
watching video
reveal.
real quick.
Not with shouting, not with fireworks, just silence and paperwork.
Okay.
I made a checklist. 1. Deliver all evidence to Mrs. Delgado. 2. Lock personal accounts. 3. Transfer car ownership. 4. Remove her from insurance. 5. Leave envelope on her side of the bed. Each step brought me closer to closure. I wasn't just dismantling a marriage. I was reclaiming my peace, piece by piece. At one point, I paused to refill my drink and glanced at a framed photo of us from our honeymoon in Hawaii.
Okay.
We were
But it
smiling,
says there
bright,
is a
naive,
additional-
so sure of forever. I picked it up,
$36.
stared at it for a moment, then placed it face down on the table.
What are we doing?
That version of us didn't exist anymore.
Kame Soltaga
Around 1
gifted
a.m.
a
I
tier
called
1
Tar because let's be
subscription to
honest,
Drunken Pandax.
revenge hits different when you have an audience.
Kamei,
He answered half asleep. Bro, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Did you catch her again?
Panda, you're stuck with
Better,
me for the next 30
I said.
days. Enjoy
I built a
all of your
case.
Captain emotes.
He yawned.
Ad-free viewing.
You mean like emotionally or legally?
1.2
Both,
times
I
the
said
channel
proudly.
currency.
I have photos, receipts, text logs. My dining room looks like the FBI's
yeah,
work from home setup.
Enjoy that.
That woke
you
him
also
up.
get access
You
to
serious?
sub-only Discord
Dead
that we've
serious.
never used.
I've even got categories. My favorite
You also
one's
get a
called When
free
Adultery
fish out of
Meets
that
Accounting.
as well.
He started laughing.
So
Man,
congratulations.
you're not
Oh,
just
no.
moving on. You're writing a damn dissertation. Exactly. I said,
We're stuck
this
with
isn't
Captain.
heartbreak, it's research.
So
Send me
terrible.
pics, he said
You
between
are, okay.
laughs. I want to see this crime scene of yours.
Ooh.
I snapped a photo of the table, the neat rows of evidence glowing under the warm light, and sent it.
No.
A minute later, he
Who
texted
did
back.
that? Who-
Bro, this
who-
belongs in a
who
museum.
catch this fish?
I know, I replied.
Who got the
But the
pink
Museum of
rubber
Karma
ducky?
doesn't open till Monday. We
got
laughed
it?
until my
Who
stomach
got it?
hurt. When I finally
got the
hung
pink
up,
rubber
I
ducky?
felt lighter.
Tell me.
Maybe that
tell
was
me,
the whiskey
tell me,
talking.
Tell me.
Or maybe it was the
Ro
power
got
of
the pink
finally
rubber
being
ducky.
done. I stood there for a while staring
You
at the
just
binder,
completed
the
fish
papers,
stacks.
the proof.
Because
This
of that,
wasn't about revenge
you know what, Ro?
anymore. This was about clarity, about seeing the truth
Because you
without the
completed
fog
the
of
fish
love and
stacks,
denial.
I will
For
give
months,
you an
I've been
extra
living in her
fish
version of
on me.
reality,
Mhm.
a place where lies
Coming
were
out of me,
misunderstandings and guilt
I will
was
give you an
stress.
extra fish.
But not anymore.
So
Now I had
congratulations
facts.
on earning an extra
Facts that
fish
didn't need permission to
on me.
exist. Before heading to bed, I tucked the
Please
binder
use
neatly
that
into a
fish
briefcase
wisely.
and placed it by the door, ready
yeah.
for my morning meeting with
I
Mrs.
appreciate
Delgado. The house was dark and still.
I
The
don't
only
know how
sound was
to
Milo's
describe
gentle
it.
snoring.
To enable the drive
I took one
you
last
need to
look at the
download
table,
free DLC
now
and
empty
purchase the
again,
necessary
and
building
whispered,
components.
"That's it.
Oh,
Story
I need
collected.
to
Exhibit complete."
Ooh.
I turned off the
Ooh.
light,
No one
heading
told me
upstairs.
yet.
On the way, I passed the closed bedroom door. She was in there, sleeping peacefully, unaware that her world was about to implode.
Where do I purchase
Part of me
the
wanted to
building
feel pity,
components?
but mostly I felt satisfaction. When I climbed into bed on the
Oh,
couch,
decorations,
my new
maybe?
preferred sleeping spot, I smiled. Tomorrow, she'd wake up to the sound of consequences knocking, and I'd be sitting there, coffee in hand, ready to watch the
No.
show. Morning arrived like a knockoff apology,
That's not
bright,
it.
loud, and way too soon. I barely slept. Half because my couch has the personality of a cinder block, and half because I couldn't stop imagining the look on Belinda's face when she realized Karma was a morning person.
No.
I got up early,
Well, we can have an ice
showered,
machine.
shaved, and
That's
brewed a
just
pot of
decorative.
coffee strong enough to dissolve regret.
Okay.
It was D-Day, Deliverance Day.
Firebox.
Everything was in place.
Water hose.
The binder labeled Exhibit Belinda Season Finale. The sealed envelope sitting prettily on the kitchen counter and my breakfast plan. If revenge had a smell, it'd be maple
From the
syrup and
upgrade
poetic
menu
justice.
after reaching
I
a
plated
certain point, you
pancakes,
gain
3 of
alternate
them, perfectly circular, golden,
car
heart-shaped,
to manage
because
the
symbolism
ticking
is important.
concessions.
I even drizzled a little extra
But it
syrup in the
doesn't
shape of a question mark. Presentation matters when you're serving karma. At 7:42 a.m., I heard the bedroom door creak open.
Go to the
She
upgrade
emerged
menu
wearing
often
one of my t-shirts
and
again,
find the
acting
cinema
like domestic
selection.
bliss hadn't filed for bankruptcy. Her hair was messy, her eyes half closed. She mumbled, stretching. Something smells good. Oh, yeah, I said, flipping a pancake. Something does, she smiled,
There's no
the same soft, manipulative smile
such
that once
thing
could have convinced me the world was
here.
fine. Coffee
Hey,
on the
Captain,
table, I said.
You can click the
And something
upgrade
else,
tab from
too.
it.
She patted toward the
When
table,
I click the
still
upgrade
half asleep,
tabby, it tells
humming.
me that I need to
She
do
saw
a
the plate of
quest,
pancakes and the envelope beside it.
But
And
there,
for a
there
brief,
shouldn't be a
glorious
quest because
second,
I already
she probably thought I
did
was
the
being
quest.
sweet. That
Unless
maybe
I'm
after
not
everything
seeing
she'd won,
anything.
that maybe I'd forgiven
Maybe
her.
we can do this
The
again as a
universe was
team.
about to clarify. She sat,
But we do
tore
have
open the
ads in 5
envelope,
minutes,
and started
guys.
reading.
So, hold on.
Inside was a
Let's try to
single
do
note
this
typed
super
neatly,
duper,
professionally,
super quick.
with all the
Also,
warmth of an
I
HR
got-
memo.
Ooh,
Congratulations,
gotta pay everyone.
you've been
That's why I have
promoted
no
to single.
employees.
P.S. The car's
So if I go
repossessed,
here,
rented due,
the
and your
upgrade
boss
tab,
can't expense
the
heartbreak.
cinema,
Love always. Oh, she blinked
I
once,
click this
twice,
here,
then she read it
the
again.
fourth one over.
Her mouth fell
Yes.
open like a trapped. What the hell is this? She said, voice climbing
Yup.
octaves like a panicked violin.
And I click that.
I poured coffee
so
into
I
my
click
mug,
the
calm as a
additional
Sunday
quest
sermon. It's
progress
your performance
needed.
review, I said.
But I don't know what
You
the
scored high in
additional quest
creativity,
is.
low in ethics. Her eyes
So
darted
that's what
around
I'm
like
a
the
little
answers might be
confuzzled
hiding in
about
the
at
cupboards.
moment.
You did something, she hissed. Technically, I said. Mrs. Delgado did most of the
By
heavy
the
lifting.
projector screen
I
and
just signed the
necessary
paperwork.
structures to-
You're crazy, she snapped,
driving
clutching the
lot.
note like it might bite her.
Okay.
No, I said, smiling. I'm organized. Her
Shock
breathing
Earhart's
quickened.
to bring an extra
What does this mean?
We're not sure.
level
What do
of
you mean
style
cars
and
repossessed?
creativity.
Oh, I
I
said casually,
Oh, there we
flipping
go.
another pancake.
It
The lease
says
was under my
you
name.
need to wash your first
You'll
car.
have to
Unlock it.
Uber to
I
your
already
next
washed
late
my
meeting.
first vehicle.
Her jaw clenched.
I
You
have
can't
the car
do that.
wash.
Already did, I said, taking a bite of
Do I have
pancake.
to like?
Turns out I'm remarkably efficient when I'm betrayed before breakfast.
Hold on.
She stood up so fast the
Hold
chair
on.
screeched across the tile. This is
Automatic
insane,
car wash off.
Oliver.
Wash
Is it?
another one. I don't know.
asked,
I don't know
setting down
either.
my fork. Because when you confessed your affair, you sounded pretty confident about your decision-making skills. I'm just matching your energy. She threw the note on the table. You're punishing me. I shrugged. Squinces. It's not punishment, it's balance. Her eyes glistened, but I wasn't
I gotta
buying
do
it.
research during
I'd
the
seen
break
real
then if this
tears from
doesn't
her
work.
before. This was performance art. I made a mistake, she whispered. Which part? I asked. The cheating or the confession? Her lips trembled. You don't understand. It just happened. Yeah, I said. Sipping coffee. So does food poisoning. That one landed. She blinked, speechless. I could practically see the gears turning, trying to find a way to twist this into a redemption arc. But the network had canceled her show.
I washed my vehicle.
You're not even mad? She said finally, sounding confused, like she missed the script where I was supposed to beg or
Upgrades.
break down.
Drive-in
Mad.
cinema.
I laughed.
Nope.
No, that implies I still
Additional
care
quest
enough to
required.
raise my voice. I'm done.
I
Finished.
don't know what it is.
Out of emotional budget. She
It's
stared at
kinda
me,
weird.
shaking her head.
Alright,
You're a
guys,
monster.
I'm gonna do
Funny,
these
I said,
cars here.
coming from the woman who made out with her boss in a parking garage.
Bro,
Her nostrils flared.
got the pink
You
duck
followed
out.
me. Sure did, I said.
Ro did
You were
get the
hard to miss
pink
considering the
duck.
fluorescent lighting and your boss's hairline
Ro
acting as a
finished
spotlight.
the fishing decks for us
She
as
gasped.
Well. So
You
there
recorded us?
is some
I
other
shrugged.
things that
Think
I
of
need
it
to
as
look
home
into the
security
fishing
footage,
decks.
just not for this
So
home.
yeah.
Her
So
hands balled
I'm
into
going
fists.
to.
You can't use
Oh,
it legally.
We gotta do
I
the
can't and
VIP
I will.
first.
Morally,
we'll take a
you
break.
forfeited that conversation at the Ember Lounge. She sat back down, clutching her head. I can't believe this. I know, I said. Self-awareness has never been your strong suit.
Thanks, Unks.
The
I
room went
appreciate that.
quiet except for the sound of Milo
Ro.
patting in,
Go, Ro.
tail wagging like he could sense the drama.
Okay, guys.
He sniffed
I'm-
the air, then sat beside me. Good boy,
I don't have
I said,
fur everywhere.
scratching his ear. You want a pancake?
Bro, thank you so much
Belinda
for
glared.
the
You're feeding the dog
Gigantified
pancakes
emote.
while we're having a serious
so guys,
conversation.
I'm gonna take a quick little
Technically,
3-minute break.
I'm
just
having
to keep
breakfast,
Wheels off for
I
an
said.
hour.
You're having
Once
consequences.
we get back, we're gonna
Her
try
face
to
went
dig
red.
a little deeper
I'll fight
into
this.
why I can't
I'll get a lawyer.
activate
Oh,
the
please do,
drive-in
I
cinema.
said cheerfully.
We're gonna have to dig a
Mrs.
little
Delgado
deeper.
loves a
I wanna
challenge.
see what the additional
She's already
quest is. I don't
color-coded
know
your
what it is.
downfall. She stormed toward the counter,
but
grabbed her
yeah.
phone, and started furiously
So,
typing,
I
probably
will be back
texting Mr.
roughly in
Hairline
3
and
minutes,
Heartache
but
for
while I'm
sympathy.
gone, there's a few
I
things
walked
that you guys
over,
can do.
leaned against
A
the
TNG
doorway,
dungeon.
and said, by the
You
way,
guys can also
your
do a
phone
group
bill's due tomorrow.
bingo
That's
and
on
a
you
group
now,
parachute
too.
as well.
She froze. You cut me off completely,
So there-
I said.
Captain Coe just
Financial
redeemed
independence
group
builds
bingo.
There's
character.
things that you guys can do.
She spun around, eyes wild.
Panda, thank
I
you
have
so
nowhere
much
to
for
go.
thanking your gifter. I
Sure you
appreciate
do,
that.
I said. You've got a boss
so
who
yeah,
seems very
I wanna get up,
accommodating.
stretch,
The
do all
silence that
things.
followed was
Just
delicious.
redeemed group
You could have buttered it and
And
served
I
it
will
with
be back
brunch.
roughly
She
in
threw her phone onto the
3-ish
couch and
minutes.
screamed, "You humiliated me." I smiled. Not yet.
No chaos.
I've been
while I'm
very
gone
discreet,
either,
but
okay?
keep yelling.
No chaos.
I'll upload the video to a private drive called Career Limiting Moves. Her shoulders slumped. For the first time in weeks, she looked small, human, maybe even scared, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't sting a little. I loved her once, deeply, but the woman standing in front of me wasn't the one I married. She'd traded vows for validation and integrity for instant gratification. So, no, I didn't feel guilty for letting her sit in the mess she made. I took my plate to the sink, rinsed it, and said quietly, "You should start packing." She blinked. "You're kicking me out." "Consider it an early checkout," I said. "No refund, Oliver." "Belinda," I interrupted. "I wish you luck. Truly, but you don't get to burn down the house and act surprised when the smoke alarm goes off." She stood there shaking. "You'll regret this." I turned, leaning against the counter. "I already regretted marrying you. This part's just damage control." Her lip quivered. "You're cold." "I'm healed," I said simply. For a long, quiet moment, she just stared at me, maybe waiting for me to crack, but I didn't. I couldn't. I'd already grieved the marriage. This was the epilogue. Finally, she grabbed her bag, muttered something under her breath, and stormed out. The door slammed hard enough to rattle a frame on the wall. The house fell silent again. I exhaled long and steady. The tension that had lived in my shoulders for months finally loosened. Milo trotted over and rested his head on my leg, tail thumping softly. "It's just us now, buddy," I said, scratching his ears. "And look at that. We finally have peace and pancakes." I sat back down, poured another cup of coffee, and stared at the empty seat across from me. For the first time in a long time, it didn't feel lonely. It felt earned, like quiet was no longer the absence of noise, but the presence of sanity. The phone buzzed. A text from Tar. Did she get the note? I smiled and typed back. She got the deluxe package. Screaming denial. Exit slam. 10 out of 10 performance. He replied with a laughing emoji. And damn, man. You're free. Free. The word looked good on the screen. I leaned back, watching the morning light spill across the kitchen. The same kitchen that had heard every fight, every fake apology, every lie. Today it felt new, lighter, like the house itself was relieved she was gone. I grabbed my phone again and opened my playlist. Song number 1, Don't Stop Me Now. Fitting. I turned up the volume until Milo's ears perked. Dancing in pajama pants at 8 a.m. wasn't on my bucket list, but freedom does strange things to a man. I sang along off-key, flipping pancakes with one hand and air guitaring with the spatula in the other. Halfway through the song, I caught my reflection in the microwave door. Messy hair, wrinkled t-shirt, ridiculous grin, and thought, yeah, this guy's going to be okay. Before heading out to meet Mrs. Delgado to file the final set of documents, I cleaned the kitchen, fed Milo, and tucked the envelope back into my drawer. A keepsake, not of her, but of the moment I took my life back. As I grabbed my keys, I noticed her mug still sitting on the counter, lipstick print and all. I considered throwing it out, then decided against it. No, let it stay. A reminder of what blind trust costs. I walked to the door, sunlight spilling across the floor. I took a deep breath, smiled, and whispered to myself, welcome to your new morning routine. Then I stepped outside, coffee in one hand, freedom in the other. If you've never been to divorce court, let me paint you a picture. It's like The Office meets Judge Judy.
Really good song.
The same awkward silences, the same forced smiles, and absolutely no snacks. Everyone's pretending to be civilized while secretly calculating how many ways they can ruin each other before lunch. Walking in that morning, I felt oddly calm. Maybe it was the coffee. Maybe it was the relief that this circus was finally reaching its last act. Belinda, meanwhile, looked like she'd spent the night wrestling her conscience and lost. She was sitting 2 rows ahead, pretending to scroll through her phone like she wasn't fighting the urge to hurl it at me. Her lawyer sat beside her. Some guy named Derek with slick back hair and an ego so shiny it could have been used as a mirror. Mrs. Delgado, my legal gladiator, gave me a nod. Ready? She whispered. Born ready, I said. Let's turn heartbreak into case law. The bailiff called the session to order. The judge entered. A silver-haired woman with glasses perched halfway down her nose and a face that said she'd seen it all. If this woman's life were a movie, it would be called 50 Shades of Divorce. Case number 4823, Carver versus Carver, the clerk announced. The judge glanced over her glasses at both of us. Let's make this quick. I skipped breakfast. Mrs. Delgado smiled faintly. Your Honor, we'll be as efficient as possible. Belinda's lawyer cleared his throat, instantly trying to charm. Your Honor, my client is simply seeking a fair division of marital assets. She contributed greatly to the household, and the judge raised a hand. Save the speech. I'll see the paperwork. Mrs. Delgado slid our neatly
That's why I
labeled folder
turned
across the
off.
bench. I swear the sound it made,
The-
paper gliding
the
over wood,
Gigantify
was the sweetest
emote
music I'd ever
sound
heard.
alerts and,
Your
like,
Honor,
the
she said
on-screen
this is Exhibit
celebrations
Belinda's
with the
season
highlight
finale.
message.
Includes proof of
I turned it
infidelity,
off
financial
because they gave me
mismanagement,
anxiety.
and enough text messages to crash a phone.
All these alerts
The judge adjusted
are
her
giving me
glasses and flipped open the
anxiety
binder.
because
Belinda shifted in her seat.
I don't know why.
Her lawyer
but
tried to keep his poker face,
giving me
but I could
anxiety.
tell by the twitch in his jaw he hadn't been briefed on all
She's
the
telling
evidence.
me to hydrate.
Page 1, screenshots of text between Belinda and her boss. Page 2, hotel receipts.
Page 3,
Congratulations for
the
video.
stealing the helm.
Yes, the one T edited with
maybe,
jazz music and tasteful fade-outs.
Maybe really
When the
wants to
video
hold on to
started
this
playing
helm.
on the courtroom monitor, you could have heard a pin drop.
And maybe
There they were.
cannot.
Belinda
Okay,
and Mr.
so
Hairline in
what we
glorious
gotta
1080p.
is
Mrs. Delgado had even added subtitles
purchase
for
the
clarity.
old drive-in lot
Belinda, you
adjacent
make
from your
spreadsheets
station.
sexy. Boss, only for you, baby.
Adjacent?
The courtroom collectively exhaled a scandalized oof.
Over
Even
this
the
way?
judge's eyebrows lifted, and I swear one
Oh,
juror
over
in the back
here.
whispered, "Yikes." Belinda's
I'm
lawyer
assuming
jumped
this
up.
is it.
Your Honor, this is highly inappropriate. The judge waved him off. Oh, hush. It's evidence and oddly cinematic. Mrs. Delgado
it?
smiled sweetly. My IT consultant
Why
added
would
the
I cause you
transitions.
anxiety?
Your
'Cause
Honor.
you caused me anxiety.
Very professional.
I can't
The
go any
judge said
further.
dryly.
Is
Continue.
it over here?
The footage ended with Belinda's boss wiping lipstick off his chin. When the screen went dark,
I'm
the silence was
confuzzled.
thicker than courtroom
Where
coffee.
is the drive-in lot?
The judge leaned forward. Mrs. Carver, is this you texting? You make
what's this blue
spreadsheets
thing?
sexy. Belinda froze. Her lawyer opened his mouth, but she beat him to it. I can explain.
Go to...
No need, the judge said, closing the folder. I've been married 3 times. I know that look. A few snickers rippled through the courtroom. I kept my face neutral, but inside I was doing cartwheels. Mrs. Delgado stood. Your Honor, in light of this overwhelming evidence, we request that my client retain full ownership of the marital
Okay.
property and all financial
I didn't
accounts.
like that.
Mrs. Carver's actions
Maybe
demonstrate
stealing
clear
the home
breach of
back.
marital trust and misuse of
Okay.
shared funds. Belinda's lawyer scrambled.
This
Your
is
Honor,
Goff.
we contend that Mr. Carver's behavior since the incident,
Where is
specifically,
the drive-in lot?
his vindictive tone
Oh.
has caused undue emotional distress to my client. The judge looked at him like
There's
he'd
a
just
pin
asked her to
attention, guys,
babysit
as
on a
well.
Friday night.
Am I
Emotional
missing?
distress? She said, Sir,
Do I
your
not
client
know
was doing
the
the
word
electric slide with her
adjacent?
boss in a hotel bar. I'd call that cardio, not distress. Even the babe chuckled. Mrs. Delgado smirked. We rest our case. Belinda shot me a glare sharp
Oh
enough to
my
slice marble.
goodness.
I just smiled politely like a man
Clearly
watching
not.
karma finish dessert. The judge shuffled
Okay.
through some papers, made a few notes, then looked
Let
at
me
both
come
of
to the
us.
computer.
Here's what's going to happen. Mr. Carver retains ownership of the house, vehicle,
That
and all
was
joint
the spot
accounts.
in the
Mrs.
computer.
Carver forfeits claim due to
Well,
breach of
in the
fiduciary
computer,
and marital
it looks
trust.
Like...
Belinda gasped.
Okay, hold
That's
on.
not fair.
Definitely
judge
don't have
shrugged.
a fucking gas
Neither
station
was your
I'm trying to run at the
extracurricular
same
activity.
time.
Next case.
No, definitely
Bang.
not.
Gavel down. It was the sound of
I
freedom.
didn't do anything to your
I
fucking
exhaled.
car.
The kind of deep exhale that feels like you're letting
We're just
go of
gonna
a
call you
ghost.
another name.
Mrs. Delgado
Oh,
turned to me,
we're out
her
of-
grin subtle but
We're at
victorious.
fuel.
Congratulations, Mr. Carver, she whispered. You're officially a free man. And for what it's worth, you handled that beautifully. Thanks, I said. I owe you coffee and maybe a commemorative trophy. She laughed. Buy me a latte and we'll call it even. Belinda stormed out of the courtroom before I could say anything. Heels clacking against the tile like punctuation
Is there
marks of
an-
defeat.
I don't think
I
there
waited until
is.
she disappeared around the corner before letting out a long satisfied
I
sigh.
don't think so.
Outside, the air felt fresher, lighter.
Management.
Divorce shouldn't feel like a victory, but damn,
Like,
it tasted
here
like
I can
one.
turn on and
I
off
called
the gas
Tar.
station.
Bro,
the fuel
he said,
dispensers,
tell me the
parking
judge loved the video.
spots, the
She
repair
did, I
bench,
said.
1 and 2,
She
the
called
car
it
wash.
cinematic.
That's the
Tar
RV
hooped.
camp, which is
So
another
loud people
DLC,
turned
the
to stare.
junkyard, which is another
I'm adding that to
DLC,
my
and the
resume.
airstrip, which is another
Editor of legally
DLC.
admissible heartbreak content. Put it under special skills. I said, so you're free now? Free and well
Traffic, that
documented.
tells me the traffic
Man,
report, that
you
tells
got
me
to celebrate
statistics,
drinks tonight.
the upgrades,
Absolutely, I said.
which that
I'm buying
is
with my own
here,
card this time.
but
We
it
met
still
later at a
says it's
rooftop
locked.
bar,
My
the kind of
tools,
place with overpriced
which I
cocktails
don't
and
wanna
string
buy
lights
vacuum
designed to
bag.
make regret look
Other,
romantic. Tar raised his glass to
parking,
new
toilet,
beginnings.
bus
I
stop,
clinked mine against his and better endings.
fuel dispenser,
We laughed for the first time
ladder.
in months. It wasn't bitter.
Okay.
It was pure stupid joy. Halfway through the night, my phone buzzed.
decorations,
A message from Belinda.
interactives?
You ruined me. I stared at it for a
Well,
second,
that's
then
locked,
typed
so
back.
whatever that
No,
is,
you did that
that
yourself.
might be the
I just
issue.
submitted the paperwork. Send.
Um,
I turned my phone face down and kept drinking. He leaned over.
It
Was
is
that
near
her?
the gas
Yeah.
station. That's all I
What
can
did she
find
say?
online. Where
Nothing
at?
new. Just confirming she's
There's a
still
lot of
allergic
things
to
near my gas
accountability.
station.
He snorted beer through his nose. You're savage.
Alright,
I'm
can you,
honest.
like,
I said there's
speed
a
it up,
difference. Later that night, I walked home
Let me
alone.
get my binoculars
City
out,
lights
like
bouncing
Zay
off the pavement.
would.
The kind of quiet
see
hum
if I
that
can
only
find it.
exists when something heavy finally lifts off your
Sounds
shoulders.
gassy.
I passed a bakery that used to be our Saturday morning spot. The smell hit me. Warm bread, sugar, nostalgia. But this time it didn't hurt. It just was. I stopped outside,
You know what?
watched
Let
a
me
couple
Google.
laughing inside, and smiled. Not
Here's
the
a
bitter
TNG
kind,
dungeon
the real
happening, guys.
kind.
Do an exclamation point
Because
going to
despite
join in on the
everything,
dungeon.
I'd survived it. Back home, I changed into sweats, grabbed Milo's
Where
leash,
to
and took him for a late
purchase
night walk.
the land
He sniffed
for
every
the
bush like it owed him money,
drive-in
tail wagging like
cinema
life was simple. Maybe he was
in
onto
gas
something.
station
Buddy, I said we did it.
simulator.
Court's over. Freedom reinstated. He barked
To
once
buy the land
approvingly.
for the drive-in
When we
special-
got back,
especially needs-
I poured myself one last drink, sat on the
Not
couch,
in real
and turned on
life.
some background jazz, the same kind T had used in the video. Fitting soundtrack for the credits. I stared at the ceiling,
Simulator.
replaying the moment the judge said the words, "Mr. Carver retains ownership." That phrase was going to live on tray in my head forever, unlike Belinda. I raised my glass in a mock toast to the empty room. Here's to honesty, loyalty, and knowing when to lawyer up. Milo jumped on the couch beside me,
I got
resting his head
to
on my leg.
when-
I ruffled his fur. We're going to be fine, kid. Turns
Like,
out
it's
justice is
telling
good
me
taste.
after a quest,
Before
but I
turning in
already
for the night, I texted Mrs. Delgado one last
did
time.
the-
Thank you for everything. You made the process
What's your
painless.
first car
She
quest?
replied within minutes. It's never painless,
don't know.
Mr. Carver, but it's always
I'm
worth
gonna
it.
cry.
I smiled, shut off my phone, and
I'm a
sat there in the
sausage.
quiet.
I'm a sausage.
For once,
I'm a
it wasn't the
sausage.
lonely kind of quiet. It was peaceful. Divorce court wasn't supposed to be funny. But that
Oh.
day, it had been a comedy. The kind where the villain trips over her own script, the audience applauds, and the protagonist walks off into the sunset holding a stack of legally binding happiness. When I finally crawled into bed, I didn't dream about her. I dreamed about pancakes, passports,
that we
and
had,
possibilities
like, 10
because
different
tomorrow wasn't a
sausage
continuation of the past. It was the pilot episode of something entirely new.
Who has
A month
9,000
after the
gold?
courtroom
Panda
grand
has
finale,
9,000
peace had
gold?
finally become my favorite background
Is Panda in
noise.
the lead now?
No drama, no emotional
leaderboard?
invoices, just me, Milo, and the occasional Netflix binge that didn't involve marital infidelity. Life was smooth until Belinda's sister, Lydia, sent me an
Now,
invite that read,
who's in the
family
lead?
gathering. Be civil.
Kamei
It's
is
her
in the lead.
birthday.
Is Kamei
I should have
actually in the
ignored
lead?
it.
Hold on.
But curiosity and
leaderboard.
pettiness are cousins.
Oh, Kamei.
And I happen to be close with both.
Ooh, Panda.
So there I was, walking into
Panda,
Lydia's
that's
overly
exciting.
decorated suburban
You
living
want to be in
room.
the leaderboard.
Balloons everywhere, fake laughter bouncing off the walls, and the guest of dishonor standing in the middle, clutching a wine glass like she'd earned it. Belinda froze when
I'm,
she
like,
saw
very
me.
confuzzled
The
right
air
now
went tight enough to
because-
file taxes on. Oliver, she said,
Ow.
forcing a smile. Didn't think you'd show.
Like,
Oh,
where-
I wouldn't miss this, I said. I brought a gift, too. Her mom
Everyone's
tried to
doing a
play peacemaker.
shitty-ass job
Let's all be adults tonight.
cleaning up this
Absolutely,
station today.
I said. Adults love transparency.
Well, the
People
other
started
idea
whispering.
I had is you could
Lydia's
start
husband
under the
whispered,
save file,
"This will be
watch your
good."
first car,
I
and see
pretended
if it
not to
unlocks
hear.
it. Hold
Belinda,
on.
meanwhile, was doing that nervous laugh thing like if she laughed hard enough, she could make reality leave the room. What gift could you possibly have for me? She asked. I held up my phone, connected it to the
telephone should
Bluetooth
let me
speaker,
ring a
and
ding
smiled.
ding,
Audio
but it's not
memories.
letting me ring a ding
The
ding.
first few
Hold
seconds
on.
were harmless. Ambient
Really don't wanna
noise,
hit that
clinking
button. I
glasses.
might need to hit that
Then her
button.
voice came on, clear as crystal.
I don't have many
You taste
customers
better than
inside.
my husband's cooking. Boom. Instant silence. Someone dropped a fork.
Close your eyes.
Her mom gasped like she'd just
Nothing's
witnessed a
happening.
ghost. Her boss's wife, yes, the boss's wife, was standing right there, frozen mid-sip. You could feel the shock ripple through the room like an electrical surge.
I'm
Turn that
popping
off.
things up.
Belinda screamed, lunging toward me, but I stepped back calm as a yoga instructor. Oh, come on, I said. You said it publicly. I'm just helping you own it.
I might need to
Her boss's wife
F7
threw her wine in her husband's face.
and
The guy
report a
choked,
bug,
sputtered, and yelled.
because
It wasn't
might
what
be
it
a
sounded
bug.
like, which made everyone laugh because,
I think
well,
that's what it might be.
sounded exactly like what it was. Belinda's mother fainted into the cake.
'Cause I was
Lydia
also-
yelled,
other
not on
people
the
were saying
buttercream
that
because priorities.
They had the same
The whole
issue
place erupted
within
in
the,
chaos, screaming, crying,
Steam.
arguing, and I just stood
And
there
they
sipping
said
my
they had
soda
to
like it
report
was a
it
fine
into a bug.
vintage. I leaned toward the nearest
I'm
waiter and
panicking
said,
at the moment
add that to my
because I
bill,
really wanted
please.
to do the drive-in
Entertainment
cinema
fee.
tonight,
Then I
but it
turned,
doesn't seem
smiled
like
at the
it's
mess I
happening,
didn't
so
have to
let's
clean up
F7.
anymore, and walked out.
Actually,
Outside,
let me
the night air
go
felt good,
here.
light,
Let me
free,
transition back
earned.
here.
I slid into my car, rolled down
so
the
I
window,
can
and whispered, "Happy
enter
birthday,
a,
Belinda." Some gifts just keep
other.
giving. It's funny how quiet can
I-
sound different after a storm. For months, silence used to feel heavy, like waiting for a fight to start. Now, it's peace with good acoustics. The only thing breaking at most mornings is Milo's tail thumping against the floor, demanding breakfast like rents do. My new routine's simple. Wake up, stretch, make coffee, and not think about Belinda. The coffee part's easy. The last one's a little trickier. Every now and then, I'll pass her old mug in the cabinet. The one that says Boss Lady. I don't throw it away. It reminds me to never ignore red flags just because they're printed on ceramic. People keep asking, do you regret it? The marriage? The whole messy ending? I tell them the truth. Sure, I regret the years I spent giving CPR to something that was already dead. But the ending? No. Best plot twist of my life. I still talk to Mrs. Delgado sometimes. She calls occasionally just to check if I'm emotionally solvent. Her words, not mine. Tar, on the other hand, won't shut up about turning my story into a podcast. Heartbreak and Hard Drives, his working title. I told him to wait until the restraining order's hypothetical works better, too. Turns out when you remove daily chaos from your life, productivity skyrockets. Who knew? I've even started jogging again. Not for fitness. Just to prove to myself I can run away from something without emotional baggage this time. Belinda, last I heard, she's finding herself. Translation, jobless, carless, and probably allergic to accountability. Her boss got demoted after the birthday fiasco went viral. Thank you, Internet. Actions have consequences, and apparently Yelp reviews. The best part of my mornings now is the small stuff. My pancakes don't burn. My Wi-Fi connects instantly. My peace of mind has a password only I know. Sometimes I'll look at Milo and say, "Buddy, you're the only one I'd share my passwords with." And he just blinks like, "Damn right." There's something liberating about rebuilding your life without needing permission. I used to think revenge was the reward, but it isn't. Pieces. Revenge just makes the story entertaining. Peace gives it a happy ending. Every weekend I sit on the porch with a cup of coffee and a sense of humor sharp enough to cut through nostalgia. Sometimes I even laugh, remembering her line, "I do it again." And yeah, I believe her, but I do it again, too. The part where I walked away because now the only thing I wake up next to is my own damn sanity and it doesn't lie, cheat, or need Wi-Fi to feel loved.